that tomorrow is doomed. Everything in America is hopeless. The country is falling apart, the economy is collapsing, the infrastructure is gone, Iraq is collapsing, everything is going to hell. And they're totally persuading people of that. When you leave here, what has happened to your net worth in the hour or two that you've spent with me today? What do you think you are worth now compared to what you were worth before you came in? If you think I'm talking nonsense, why don't you just try and sell something? Try and realize some assets. You going to find any buyers? When there is no confidence out there, the money has no value. That is the key of an inflationary climate. When Germany had inflation prior to World War II, you needed a wheelbarrow of currency to buy a loaf of bread because money had no value. It had no value only because confidence collapsed. That's why in this United States of America, the greatest engine of prosperity the world has ever seen, where do we write the magic words, "In God we trust"? On the walls of churches? Well, of course not. People who go to church know "In God we trust." That's not the issue. You know where you really need to write that phrase? On the money. Because if there is no faith in tomorrow, your money is valueless. That is the best proof that money is spiritual, not physical. Because it's easy for it to be destroyed by people who don't even know you, people who have never even met you. All they have to do is damage confidence in the future, and the value of your wealth plummets. It's gone. And so, what I'd like to do is explain to you then that wealth creation comes about because of the structure of human society and people being obsessed with trying to do things for one another. People trying to help one another. That's how money is made. Let me tell you a quick story about Grandpa Lapin, but before I do that, two Kitsap entrepreneurs and businessmen, good friends of mine, also showed up. Amazingly enough, Ellie Piepsch and Hanan Simon. Welcome. Wave your hands so we can see you. Ellie, you were on the East Coast. How long ago did you get off the plane? That's dedication. That's dedication. Landed at SeaTac 45 minutes ago. You've been home already, said hello to the family? No, not yet. Got to find out how to generate wealth. That is very important, and it depends upon a spiritual as well as a physical perspective. We generate wealth by recognizing that the creation of wealth is in and of itself a noble activity. That's number one. Why do I say it's a noble activity? Well, first of all, it's a noble activity because it stops people killing each other. People who do business with one another are usually not killing one another. You know, I noticed there's some beautiful waterfront houses on Bay Street as it goes down for the next few miles. You know what I'm talking about? Beautiful waterfront homes. Who over here owns a waterfront home? Come on, don't be shy. Terrific. Good for you. Did your dad know about it? Oh, okay, so, okay, all right. It's just, you know, if my kids had a waterfront home, I'd sure like to know about that. Anybody, I mean, is that because nobody cares for one? Is there anyone else here who'd like a waterfront home? Everybody, huh? Yeah, the only reason you didn't all put your hands up is you don't totally believe that I have the ability to give it to you. Oh, but I do, you see. Well, actually, even better than that. If I give it to you, you owe me big time. But if I show you how to get it for yourself, you don't owe anybody anything. That's a different story. How do we get you a waterfront home? Well, we've got to first of all decide, how do waterfront homes get distributed? Who decides? I mean, come on, let's have a revolution. Only one person here has a waterfront home. Look at all the rest of us. Are we not worthy? Why shouldn't we have one as well? Are we evil human beings? Come on, everybody. Let's get those rifles out there. Well, wait a sec. That's one way of getting waterfront homes. As a matter of fact, in many parts of the world, that's exactly how you get real estate. You take your gang, your army, and you go and seize the real estate you want. In large parts of Africa, as well as in parts of Asia, to this day, that is exactly how you acquire real estate. Now, there's one drawback. I mean, far be it from me to be judgmental and tell you whether that's a good way or a bad way. Far be it from me. But I will tell you the drawback of that approach, and that is you have to keep your army paid and present, because otherwise somebody else with an army will come and take your waterfront house away from you. So you are going to need to keep those guys fed. That's a drawback. It's more expensive than gasoline. So that's one way of deciding who gets waterfront homes. Another way is a lottery. And don't laugh. I mean, look how much we do with lotteries in the state of Washington. Obviously, people think it's a good idea. So why don't we just have a lottery for all the waterfront houses? I mean, how many are there in the whole of Port Orchard and Bremerton? What are there? 5,000 waterfront homes? I don't know how many there are, but it's a finite number. Maybe it's 1,000. But whatever it is, you put each one's address on a piece of paper, and then everybody in the neighborhood comes and picks out a piece of paper out of their hat. And there's a number, like thousands and thousands of pieces of paper have just the words "you loser" on them. And 5,000 of them have the address of waterfront property, and you're a winner. Why not do it that way? It's just that you are so accustomed to the blessed way we do it in the United States of America that what I'm saying now sounds bizarre to you. But why should it be? And if that sounds bizarre, surely this one won't. We have a committee made up of politicians, academics, who decide who gets waterfront property. By the way, for 70 years, the Soviet Union worked that way. It was called the Politburo. Bureaucrats decided who got what. Not surprisingly, just the way these things work, astonishingly, the bureaucrats seem to get a lot of the waterfront houses. That's one of the drawbacks of that. Those are 3 ways so far. Do you like them? Well, here's a 4th one. Since only 5,000 people get the beautiful waterfront houses around here and all the rest of us don't, why don't we make the waterfront houses belong to everybody instead of just to 5,000 people? It's not right. It's unequal. Now, here's how we do it. We turn all the waterfront houses into a park. And that way we can all enjoy them. I'd like to see a little more enthusiasm. I've worked hard on this idea. That's the 4th way of doing it. I'll tell you in all honesty, I want to be above board, it has a drawback. The drawback is that all we've done is make the next row of houses even more valuable, because not only are they waterfront, they're also parkfront. So now we're back to the beginning. We have to figure out who gets the next row of houses. So that's a problem. These are 4 ways, and you don't like any of them. You're a tough crowd. Because there's only one more way. There are only 5 ways to distribute assets like waterfront houses. I've told you the 4, you don't like them. The 5th is a free market system of business in which everybody can decide how best to spend their own money. That is one of the beauties. When I say money and wealth, and the creation of wealth through the conduct of business saves people from fighting with one another, that's what I mean. It does. Somehow or another, I was having trouble trying to get you geared up for a revolution. If waterfront homes were allocated on any of the 4 ways I initially suggested, I bet I could get some enthusiasm for a revolution. But since it's by the miracle of money, everybody's cool with it, it's fine. And what you're all thinking is, if I succeed in my business, then I will be able to get one of them houses by paying its price. That's what you really are thinking. And that's the right way. That's the way it's supposed to be. Well, as long as we understand that wealth is produced by doing things for other people, we are ready to take a look at 3 successful spiritual keys to building a business. The first one